Welcome to Fortress of Faith with Tom Wallace, calling North America to repentance and revival.
Welcome back once again to the Corner of Truth and Courage. You're listening to Fortress of Faith. This is Tom Wallace. Well, excuse me, bear with me. I've got a bit of a head cold that is affecting my speech here today, but I hope that I'll be able to get through this broadcast just fine with you today. Before we get started into today's broadcast, I want to announce and remind our listeners that we're having a mini conference with our listeners up in British Columbia. So if you are listening on KARI, our home station, I'm hoping that you'll join us October 18th or October 19th, Friday or Saturday. And on Friday, I'm going to be in Victoria at the Capital City Baptist Church. They're hosting the meeting. And we should have up online information about the location of where that meeting is going to be held. And it's going to start at 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And our website is fortressoffaith.com, fortressoffaith.com. On Saturday, October the 19th, we're going to be at the Grace Baptist Church in Surrey. And we'll be starting at 10 a.m. and going till 1 p.m. And so that's Friday the 18th in Victoria at Capital City Baptist Church. And on Saturday the 19th, October 19th, we're going to be at Grace Baptist Church in Surrey starting at 10 a.m. I hope you can come. The meeting is free. There's no charge to come. I hope that not only you'll come, but that you'll bring a friend with you. I'm looking forward to meeting many of you. Will also have a time of Q&A, and so I hope it will be a blessing to you. All right, well, let's get into our material here today. The big news is that Nasrallah, the head of Hezbollah, has been successfully taken out by Israel, by the IDF, and a joint effort with Mossad. Netanyahu gave the order to take him out. Now, this is very, very big news. It's one thing for a nation to be at war with another nation and to take out a state leader. But Nasrallah is not a state leader. He is only the head of a terrorist organization that has taken over control of Lebanon. The army of Hezbollah is even larger than the army of the country of Lebanon. They have seized control away from the whole country of Lebanon. They have taken over the south. They have controlled parts of the north and Beirut, and with force have dictated their own terms, and the Lebanese government and people have either been complicit in aiding them. I'm sure there's a bit of that, but most of it is just simply out of fear for their own lives and their own safety that this bully, this organization that came in with his gang, has taken over control of their country. And thank you, Israel, they have taken out pretty much every leader. I was looking at the list here recently, and Nasrallah was still on the list as being alive. But you got underneath him, Nasrallah, you had like 3 generals, and underneath that you had like 8 captains. Well, right now on the list, there's only 1 captain left. Israel has successfully pinpointed the location of just about all the leadership of Hezbollah. So the idea, does it work if you chop off the head of the snake? Does the organization die? Well, not really when it comes to a terrorist organization. They're going to grow new heads. but they have been severely harmed and hurt. Now, this is a group that has come out of Iran. This is where they originated. This is where they're funded. This is they get their orders from Iran. They serve purely as a proxy army for Iran to kind of give the illusion in international law that Iran is not fighting Israel. Well, everyone knows that's just the so-called illusion. They've stayed out of the technical side of being considered a war. Well, the gloves have been taken off. Very soon we're going to see an attack by Iran because there's not much left. They had Hamas to the south. They had Hezbollah to the north of Israel. Iran faces difficulties to actually launch a full-scale war against Israel because they have to make their way over Iraq, over Syria, over Jordan before they can actually reach Israel. So this is why they had their armies, their proxy armies, on the border, in the south, in Gaza, in the north, in Lebanon. Israel has been under attack. For now, we're just coming up to a few days away from October 7th, from the 1-year anniversary of when Gaza attacked. Now, let me give you some background. Why did this start at this particular time? The reason it happened is because Iran was fearful that the Saudis, under MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince, the rumor was, and it really wasn't a rumor, there was lots of open talk that the Saudis were about to sign President Trump's peace agreement that he put into place, known as the Abraham Accords. And they were about to sign it. 4 nations have already signed it, and every nation that did, their economy has rocketed upwards without oil. And the Arabs have noticed this, especially MBS. MBS has been on a mission to lead his country into an alternative income source other than oil. They have to reform their nation and change their economic ways because they know one day the oil will run out. And when it does, they're going to be broke. They've got nothing else to bring wealth into their country. They've not adapted to any other economic abilities. And so they've been talking about this for over 6 decades. They know they need to do it, but no one knows how. Well, MBS has finally figured it out. And he has been trying to diversify their nation and their economy, and he is making his sand pit, he is building and trying to woo and attract the people of the world to come live and play and work in his sand pit. And I got to tell you, he's doing an amazing job. It's very enticing what he's doing. But the biggest thing is he's got to diversify his economy. And it seems the only way to do that is to make friendship with Israel. That brings me back to the Bible. The Bible told us in Genesis chapter 12, verse 3. We call this the Abrahamic covenant. And God says to Abraham, I'll bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curseth thee. And the Arabs are beginning to pick up on this. If we are a friend to Israel, things go better. Things go well. Things prosper. And if you turn against Israel, man, we just live in poverty. We just live in hardship. And although we found a way to make wealth, we really don't have a happy life. Living under Islam is not happy. Many people leave Islam because of how miserable it is to be under Islam. Islam only works with fear. You stay a Muslim, if not, we kill you. Don't ask questions, even though things don't make sense. If you ask questions, we kill you, or we imprison you, or we beat you. Don't rock the boat. Just do what we tell you to do. People don't like that, and they don't want to live under that, and they're leaving by the masses. We're seeing a change of what's going on, and the big news is this. We now have an Arab leader who has the influence in the ear of many, many, many other Arab leaders. And when October 7th happened, because Iran was afraid that Saudi Arabia was about to sign, so they figured, we've got to trigger the war. We've got to do something that would force the Arabs to all go in and fight against Israel. We cannot have Saudi Arabia sign this peace agreement, because if they do, it will be a domino effect. Everyone else will sign, and all the Arabs will then be at peace with Israel, and we cannot let that happen. Iran needs the Arabs to help them fight to destroy Israel. Maybe tomorrow we'll get into the broadcast of explaining why. Why do they want Israel destroyed? But so October 7th was done last year so that they could take hostages, forcing Israel to go into Gaza, knowing that would be the tripwire. That would be the one thing that if Israel did that, all the Arabs would be at war with Israel. Well, they didn't. They stayed home when Israel went in. Oh, they've made some condemnations. They've rattled their sabers. But largely they stayed at home. Why? MBS. Saudi Arabia said, stay home. These are radicals. These Palestinians are all these terrorists. We don't want them. And let Israel deal with it. And they're quite content to sit back and let Israel fight against the fundamentalism of Islam that all the other Arab leaders are trying to push out of their own countries. So we have a very interesting change going on in the Middle East today. In all my years of living, now almost 6 decades, I have never seen the attitude of the Arabs to be what they are today. And there is a moving, and this is interesting because of biblical prophecy, there is a moving today to try to have peace with Israel. But the reason why they can't have it yet is because of the fundamentalism of Islam. Most of the Arab leaders are trying to purge that out of their nations. And some are making some great big strides in that area. But they see the root of that in the Palestinians. That's why no one wants them. That's why no one's going to open their doors to take them as refugees. They don't want them in their country. And it continues to be a thorn in the flesh for Israel by doing so. Some interesting changes are going on. Now, tomorrow when we come back in tomorrow's broadcast, I'll probably get into what is the biblical reason of why all this is happening. So I hope you'll join us again tomorrow at the corner of Truth and Courage. God bless you.